Welcome to St. Norbert College. This is the only existing college in the world founded by the religious community of men and women called the Norbertines. You will soon learn that the things that make this campus what it is today are its history and traditions. Its history actually goes back more than 900 years to a man named Norbert. Just as Norbert's story is about a man finding his path and making a difference, your story is also about finding your path and aligning it with your values and convictions. At St. Norbert College, creating an environment where community members can find their way is what we're all about. To understand what makes St. Norbert College such a special place, we need to learn a little bit more about a man named Norbert and how his life and the order he founded led to the creation of this unique place we call St. Norbert College. Norbert was born circa 1075 in Gennep, in the present-day Netherlands. As the second son of a noble family, he was destined for the church. He received the best education the canons of Xanten in present-day Germany could offer, but at the time he was more interested in living a worldly life. That all changed dramatically around the age of 35, when Norbert experienced an extraordinary encounter with God. According to historical accounts, Norbert was thrown from his horse during a thunderstorm while traveling from Xanten to the nearby town of Freyden. This experience at the roadside changed Norbert. It got him thinking about what was happening within the church and the direction his life was taking. After his conversion experience, Norbert spent significant time in contemplation, eventually requesting to be ordained. After ordination by the Archbishop of Cologne, Norbert spent 3 years discerning how best to serve God. He began his ministry by roaming the cities and countryside of Western Germany, Belgium, and France. As he did, he found violence and hatred everywhere. In this turbulent environment, Norbert's ministry became evident, and soon he became known as a peacemaker and a powerful preacher of the gospel. Norbert's spiritual tenacity eventually caught the eye of Bishop Bartholomew of Lens, France, who asked him to start a religious community in his diocese. In the spring of 1120, Norbert and a few followers settled in the valley of Prémontré, France, rebuilding the ruined chapel of John the Baptist. On Christmas Eve 1121, after more than a year of prayer and reflection, Norbert and a small group of followers professed religious vows as canons regular of Prémontré. Officially called the Order of Premonstratensians after the place of their founding, today the order is known more simply as the Norbertines. Taking their inspiration from the earliest Christians and the rule of St. Augustine, Norbertines dedicate themselves to a life of community living, poverty, obedience, celibacy, and active priestly ministry. In this way, they follow the call of the Holy Spirit in serving others. Norbert, who only 5 years earlier had first heard God's call on the road to Freyden, was now making a major difference in the lives of others and in the course of the Catholic Church. His followers quickly grew in number, and their reach expanded rapidly. In a short time, Norbert's Abbey in Prémontré became just one of dozens throughout Northern Europe. In 1126, 5 years after starting his order, Norbert was appointed to be the Archbishop of Magdeburg. His years as Archbishop weren't easy. He frequently faced strong opposition to his ideas and reforms, but eventually, Norbert won the love and respect of the local clergy and the people. In the end, Norbert's reputation as a peacemaker and mediator became so well known that he was often called upon to advise the emperor about how to address internal conflicts in Germany and in the wider church. By 1134, Archbishop Norbert, exhausted by personal sacrifice, endless travel, and malaria, died in Magdeburg on June 6th when he was still in his 50s. Remarkably, it had only been 19 short years since this extraordinary man of courage met God on that road between Xanten and Freyden. Those 19 years set the course for establishing a legacy of spiritual influence, an influence that continues today and reaches into the hearts of men and women around the world. The actual birthplace of the Norbertine order would survive for more than 600 years. In 1790, however, the site of Prémontré was seized during the French Revolution, and much of the abbey was destroyed. Rome became the order's headquarters. Today, more than 1,300 Norbertine priests, brothers, deacons, and novices, and some 300 sisters and nuns are living examples of the community of God. These men and women can be found in parishes around the world, in isolated villages, bringing hope to people ravaged by war, hunger, and disease, or working as teachers, social workers, lawyers, artists, farmers, and educators in big cities and small towns. Although Norbertines play an active role in the life of the body of Christ outside their own communities, they return to their spiritual duties of the Abbey. Spiritual duties that include embracing the joys of daily life through simple communal living by sharing common prayer in the Eucharist, common table, and common recreation, all with the intent of living a life of conversion by building a deeper and more personal relationship with Christ. St. Norbert College traces its beginning to November 1st, 1893, when two Norbertine priests and a lay brother from Bern Abbey in Holland set out for the United States. The community there had been asked to staff a number of Belgian-speaking parishes in northeastern Wisconsin. The earliest Norbertines eventually moved from what is now Door County and made their home at St. Joseph Parish on the banks of the Fox River in De Pere in 1898. Among the Norbertine charisms and traditions is a commitment to serve the local community, so it was no surprise when they responded to the need for education in the area by starting a school. In October of 1898, Father Bernard Pennings, who would later become Abbot Bernard, founded his college to train young men for the priesthood. But he soon discovered a more general need for higher education in northeastern Wisconsin and started a commerce program for lay students. After World War II, enrollments increased dramatically, and in 1952, St. Norbert College became one of the very first Catholic colleges to become coeducational. By the time Abbot Bernard died in 1955, the college was well on its way to becoming the kind of example in higher learning and world service that he and his fellow Norbertines had envisioned. Today, St. Norbert College is recognized nationally for its academic success, exceptional faculty and staff, outstanding co-curricular educational opportunities, and its commitment to community outreach and global service. It is a residential college that has given generations of students the opportunity to learn how to navigate their personal journey, a place where many have found not only direction, but their life's vocation. One of St. Norbert College's most distinct attributes, however, is a dedication to the mission as a Catholic, Norbertine, and liberal arts institution of higher learning, with an emphasis on Communio. Communio, by definition, calls us to deeply connected relationships characterized by faith, mutual esteem, trust, and responsibility. Today, Communio challenges the college community to build an academic family characterized by these virtues, while at the same time responding to the needs of our local and global communities.
We approach every interaction with charity and with kindness. And the way we conduct ourselves and the way we interact with our students and the students interact with us and with one another is guided by those principles of Communio, and it makes the learning environment so much nicer and richer.
One thing that I do in my coursework is that I coach an organization called Discoveries International. It has a long history, going back to 1974 actually, where Professor Frank Wood gave students $1,000 and said, you know, go buy some products, and in this case the products were alpaca sweaters made by craftspeople in Peru. The students used the $1,000 investment, purchased these alpaca sweaters, resold them here, and that's what started the student-operated business. Discoveries International has changed a great deal since those beginnings, but students still make all the decisions. They have to communicate richly with one another, and in doing so, they learn things that I could never teach in a classroom. And they just gain a lot of insight and sensitivity and respect for people of different cultures and backgrounds. A great example of Communio.
Even more specifically, the St. Norbert College community tries to live the motto, docere verbo et exemplo, to teach by word and example. Every relationship and interaction is an opportunity to build one another up, recognizing the sacred dignity of all persons and responding to that dignity with compassion and respect. The educational experience at St. Norbert College is also founded on the Catholic intellectual tradition. St. Norbert faculty members draw on the vast resources of the Catholic and liberal arts traditions, and they constantly raise important issues for students. Whether it's a discussion of ethics in a business course, the idea of the sacred in an art class, or the ways in which economic policy uplifts the poor, the educational opportunities at St. Norbert College spring from its foundation and its mission as a Catholic, Norbertine, and liberal arts institution of higher learning. Embracing the Catholic intellectual tradition means recognizing the desire to find the truth through a conversation between faith and reason.
The Catholic intellectual tradition very beautifully provides space where difficult questions about the intersection between faith and reason, between science and religion, can be addressed. Communio helps here because those difficult questions can be discussed from a position of mutual trust and understanding and kindness and charity. And so it's not an antagonistic conversation, but rather a dialogue. Students feel that their faith traditions are being respected, they're being enriched and deepened by a better understanding of how the two interact with one another.
When students become engaged with the co-curricular aspects of the college as well, a developmental and holistic experience begins to take shape.
Dance Marathon is all about giving back. I've noticed a theme in myself of just wanting to provide opportunities like St. Norbert's been doing for me, and I just feel so obligated and so strong in giving that and passing it forward. And I just hope that people learn that there is good in life, and I think it's good to live for something greater than ourselves, that being Jesus Christ. And just really just seeing this constant theme of just constantly giving back, because I never once in my life thought that, you know, faith would grow upon me so strong like it did here, and I just can't thank St. Norbert enough for that.
We have a lot of different opportunities to be involved in Catholic ministry on campus. So with my specific job, I'm able to bring students into the community of De Pere, Green Bay, local areas, and really promote service and to get off campus, get out of our heads, and just be in the community and serve, and then come together and reflect on that service. Morning prayer is wonderful. We're college kids, so no one likes to wake up super early, but when we're there, it is wonderful because it gives you a time to be intentional about the day, to start the day off right.
Over half of the St. Norbert College students take a community-engaged course where they will work with a community partner on a project or at a site to gain a deeper understanding of their course content. Many students are involved in the alternative break service opportunities, where they are often found working on the front lines of social issues.
So my experience with leadership and service has actually drastically changed the direction of my career. I decided that I wanted to do something with people, working with youth in a social service setting, and that really stems from the experiences that I had working with vulnerable populations like youth in my different service opportunities, like with the TRIPS program.
Service has been crucial in helping me to find the circles that I feel most comfortable and confident in. I've met the best friends in the services that we've done together, and additionally I think it has really helped to shape the future that I hope to take as someone who is constantly a global citizen.
Just as Norbertines have abbeys all over the world, the college values its international dimensions, welcoming and nurturing students from other cultures and countries. St. Norbert College is often home to students from as many as 30 countries, but welcoming students to campus from other countries is only half the story. St. Augustine said, quote, "Not to travel is like reading only the first page of a good book," unquote. So St. Norbert students are encouraged to broaden their understanding of the world by traveling and studying abroad. Some of these global experiences provide the opportunity to learn more about the founding order of the college.
I would say I definitely have a greater appreciation and for every part of the order. For St. Norbert himself, he was one man, and he took just this idea that he had of a lifestyle that everyone should live, and he grew it into something much bigger than himself. He was a very charismatic personality, and he was able to just really pull other people into his idea of the way life should be lived, and he grew this entire order out of his one idea.
Through service, deep relationships, and the opportunity to learn about Norbertine values, students experience a deep appreciation for Communio.
I think it's important that we all know that we have a purpose in this life, and everybody is important. We should, we should be very inclusive with everybody because everyone's important here. And just being the best that you can be for others. It's not about us, it's about providing for other people.
I learned how to take care of one another's story and to be gentle with people when they're vulnerable, because we do have discussions that are deeper about beliefs, and to be attentive to where everyone's coming from is really important.
The biggest takeaway from this experience is just the type of warm and welcoming community that you can make when everybody really does have the same mindset and the same goal. Communio kind of has its roots in the Bible and in Acts, the book of Acts specifically, and how to be in community is to be of one mind and one heart on the way to God or on the way to a common goal. And so I think that common goal can be just about anything, whether it's religious or tied to a specific organization you're working for.
As the only Norbertine institution of higher learning in the world, St. Norbert College is dedicated to carrying out the mission of St. Norbert of Xanten and Abbot Pennings by taking seriously our three main traditions: Catholic, Norbertine, and liberal arts. When these traditions come to life by sharing our experience with everyone who makes St. Norbert College their home, something magical begins to happen.
My 4 years here have been a wonderful roller coaster. It's been kind of everything I didn't know it was going to be. My experience was kind of unique because I'm a first-generation college student, so I came into college not really knowing a lot about the intricacies of higher education. I came in kind of maybe half a step behind some of my peers, but really the support that I've gotten here has brought me as far as I could have ever hoped to go. Going to be able to go get my PhD based on the experience I got here, and just keep positively influencing people.
St. Norbert College now stands as a testament to the hopes and life work of St. Norbert of Xanten and Abbot Pennings. Inspired by their vision and rooted in three great traditions, the college remains a place where students deepen their understanding of themselves, their neighbors, and the world.